What is up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. Today with me, I have a much anticipated guest that I'm so excited to have on today. She's known as Mimi and Gigi, and she is a Twitter sensation, Farah Galfond. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me today.
It's my pleasure. I've become a big fan of yours on Twitter over the last year. You've gotten pretty famous, and rightfully so. So anyway, congratulations to you, and I'm proud of you, and I'm happy to finally meet you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And you nominated me for the Platinum Pass. Oh my God, I'm just like starstruck.
Whatever it's called, whatever it was.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that. And that was really sweet of you. And I've been a big fan of yours, and I don't like to admit to too many people, but when I was younger, I did watch Days of Our Lives. And I did watch you when you were Mimi. And today when I was looking up some videos to kind of look up some of your poker stuff that you've been doing, I did get like in a wormhole, in like this rabbit hole of Sean and Mimi's first kiss and stuff like that. So you being an actress for so long, what was the transition like to go into poker?
So I've told the story before, so I'll give you like a little snippet here. The fast version. When I moved to New York and worked on One Life to Live, some of the cast and crew had home games, and I didn't know anyone in New York, and so they invited me, and of course I'm just trying to make friends. And like the first time I played poker in one of these tiny apartments, like 20 people crammed in, I was instantly obsessed. I've always loved cards and playing games, and I've always been very competitive. So it was just,
I'm curious.
A big poker fan, and I read like one book, that was it, and then I started going to play at the Borgata, and became a fan of Phil's on watching high stakes poker, and I would play on Poker Stars when it was still legal, and that's it. So, and then yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering what those games were like with the cast. Like what the stakes were, and were they pretty degen?
They were like $20 buy-in, like sit and goes, basically. Okay. Yeah. And then I would start, then I would play cash games and tournaments at the Borgata. Just, totally fishing it up. I really didn't know what I was doing, but I was just playing for fun because I worked all week, and it was my way of unwinding on the weekends. And then when that show got canceled, I moved back to LA, and had more time to play. I went down to Commerce quite a few times, alone. I don't recommend it. And then I followed Phil on Twitter, and after I met him, I got interested in the fact that like you could really actually study, and like there was he pointed out things that I was doing that were just so horrible right away, and it didn't occur to me that like I could really actually try to get better, not just like on my own. Like, I don't know. I have always been like a trial and error type person. I never took an acting class until it was too late. So he helped me, and then I got really focused on it, and just it became a bigger passion than acting, and I just I grinded it out for a few years, playing 2-5 at RAM mostly for a couple of years, and I would watch my Run At Once videos, and when I had like this big question, I would consult with Phil, but he it wasn't like we were sitting there and going through Sims and stuff together. We never we don't do that kind of stuff. But we'll talk about hands. That's the extent.
So I'm curious, because you did go from 2-5, and I read that you were playing 5-10, and then you started playing pretty big, like 200, 400, 300, 600. And besides financial hurdles, what would you say some of the hurdles were going into such a big game?
Well, obviously, naturally it's intimidating, just like all around. You know, you've got people that have been flinging cranberries for years now, and like the biggest stack I'd ever had was maybe like 10 or 12K at 510. That was on a really good
So
night, you
for
know.
the viewers at home who don't play that big, cranberries are what size chips?
25,000.
25,000.
Yeah. And everyone kind of knows each other, and it's like you're suddenly sitting with a group that's like has a lot of camaraderie and like inside jokes, and they all know each other very well, and they're close, and like so you feel like a little bit of a fish out of water. I knew like one or two people, thankfully, but I don't know. I would say for me it was just the hardest thing for me to make that jump was to just not care that it's so much money, just to play your game the same way I would play it at any stake. So, but it only took a few sessions to kind of stop trembling and like not care anymore. And
Did you feel initially, because I know some of the bigger games, they try to bring in people with money who are quote unquote whales potentially. Like, did you ever feel like maybe,
I think they were hoping that I was a whale. Yeah.
And then you were actually doing well?
Yeah, over time they saw that wasn't the case. So, I got a seat less and less. And now that I'm a mom, like it's like I don't really play anymore. And I don't have time. But I was hoping that when we got back to Vegas, we're supposed to go back the end of May. We had planned on, maybe trying to play the series, or I wasn't really going to play too many tournaments, but I was going to hope to like get in some good cash games. Hope, because like I said, my invites were getting fewer and farther between, but I'm so rusty now that they would be crazy not to like, when I watch Phil play the challenge, I know it's PLO, so it's different, but and then like I just know that he's got such like a strategy going, and like I would have no strategy if I sat down and played right now. I would just be like, well, I hope it's like riding a bike, like I would just be, here we go. I don't know. Like, so if and when poker comes back around and I'm back in Vegas and casinos are back open, I would have to hunker down and study for a few weeks to like kind of remember like what are my ranges, where do I open this. And I've really, when you're out of it for, gosh, it's been almost 2 years, I think, like because I was pregnant and now the baby's 15 months, so I'm really rusty right now, so they should want me back in their games. I do. I miss it so much. And I gotta say, like, I was gonna have a lot of FOMO this summer because like I said, I wasn't planning on playing any tournaments, hoping to get in maybe a few cash games. But now that no one can play live, I feel a lot better. I'm like, welcome to my life, because I can't play either. And I don't know. I feel a lot better. I'm sorry for everyone else, but that's what I've been going through. So yeah, I do miss it. And people are like, well, why don't you play online? I'm like, all right, then you don't understand what it's like to have a baby. You can't just, I don't know how I would play online. I don't.
Is there a social aspect to live play that you also enjoy?
Yes. And I think that I like, one of my niches is like, I don't want to, I guess, reading people, but it's understanding people's psyche and like kind of what the personality is. And so I've always been good at that. I play off that very well. So I don't know, and also it feels real to me when I click buttons. It just feels like it doesn't feel real, like real money. Sometimes after Spencer goes to bed, I'll if I just want to have a glass of wine and play a little bit, I'll get on Run It Once and I'll play for like an hour and a half. That's all I have time for. And it doesn't feel real. I know that like the money in my account is real, but like it doesn't feel like it. So I just kind of like mess around.
An hour and a half seems like not a real session. Like I
No,
used to
it's
play
not.
when I used to play a lot, I was playing like 12 hours, 16 hours. Like
Yeah.
what were your typical sessions when you were playing on a regular basis?
When I'd play live before the baby, yeah, like 10 hours probably.
So do you prefer cash over tournament play?
Yeah, it used to be the other way around, but
What changed?
I made a lot of money playing cash.
That's
Yeah.
the best answer.
Yeah, you can make a lot more and a lot faster.
So
Um,
do you,
also, I don't like to travel that much, so
yeah, I
I
guess.
think
And you guys are in Vancouver now, right?
right now we are, yeah.
And I know in Canada, which I'm from Canada, you can play on Run It Once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Where do you live now?
I actually live in California. I live in San Jose.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I've lived
that's
in the
right.
States for the last like 10 years.
Okay.
But I grew up in Edmonton, Alberta,
Okay.
and that's where I learned how to play poker. And it was super degen
Yeah.
when I used to play. And I used to just play ABC, and all the oil rig workers would come in because we were 2 hours south of Fort McMurray, and they would just dust off, 10,000 in a weekend, and it was just amazing. It's a
Yeah.
lot harder now. And when you say that when you go back, you're going to have to go back to studying, I feel like the game has passed me by in a lot of ways. Like it's gotten so
Yeah.
much more difficult. I don't know if
Yeah.
you find that the game is constantly changing.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, my biggest my most successful year was 2017, and this was coming off of like grinding 4 to 5 nights a week for like 3 years straight, like, and I was studying and playing a lot. And 2017, I felt like I was really good, and I think Phil would have said I was a really good no limit player, and
You
he,
actually got 21st place in the Deuce to Seven low ball triple draw.
yeah.
Who plays that? That's amazing. I was
I
so
love that
impressed to
game.
see that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Phil used to play on full tilt, the nosebleed deuce games, and this was back in 20 like 13, 14 here in Vancouver, and just these massive games. And he would have like 500K swings like on a nightly basis, and it made me just nauseous. And I hated that game because of that, but I loved watching it actually. And I never, yeah, I mean, the only time I could ever play it was if it came around to the World Series, and it was $1,500. That's like all I would spend on that. And I had never played it before, but I just seen Phil play it over like, thousands of hands. So I was like, I could probably just do what he does, right? But yeah, so that game's fun. But yeah, I hate that I've been out of it for so long because, and the other problem is once I want to get back into games, I'm never ever going to have the amount of time I had before where I could really, really immerse
Right.
myself in it. So I'm never going to be as good as I was probably. And therefore, should I be playing such high stakes? I don't know. If the game is good, whatever. I don't know. My future in poker is just sort of up in the air right now. I want to get back into it because I love it and I miss it, but I just have no idea at this point, like what capacity that's going to be. Maybe when Spencer's in school in a few years, I can play more and more, but just going with the flow right now. I mean, nobody can play right now. I mean, live players. So like I said, feel pretty good about that. Sorry, everybody.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking to me about this transition you've made to become a mother, and poker's kind of gone on the back burner. Um, is there anything that you prefer now? Are you enjoying motherhood more than you did playing poker? And I know those are two different
Yeah.
things, but you've had to replace one with the other, kind of.
Um, so I've always been a person that, like, my first career was in acting and my second was in poker, and I've always done what I'm passionate about and what fulfills me. And acting was very therapeutic to me. Poker is very therapeutic to me. Both are very challenging to myself. Like, and I always want to get better. It's something that like I could always get better at both things. And I've always loved challenging myself. And being a mother is challenging. Creatively, I'm not so sure how fulfilled I am. Like, I still need to have something in my life other than this. I just don't feel like I can do that right now, especially with being up here and Phil being so busy with the challenges. I'm kind of like giving him his time to, not giving him his time to shine or whatever, but you know, poker's been on the back burner for him for a long time. I know what that's like, so I'm glad that he's getting to play. But you know, we both can't just be crazy busy playing at the same time. So this is going to be his year, and then maybe when Spencer's in preschool, I'll get back into it. But yeah, I mean, obviously being a mother is amazing, and Spencer's the best thing that's ever happened, and I love him so much, but I can't just be a stay-at-home mom. It's just, it's not totally fulfilling to me, isn't?
Yeah. I mean, I hear that. I think a lot of women feel the same way. Like you can't, still have to find your identity or keep it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm just curious because I looked at some of the old high stakes. I guess they're not that old. Some of the high stakes footage where you were playing with like Bill Perkins and Matt Berkey. And I don't know if you stacked Bill Perkins. It was like a $250,000 pot, but that was like one of the hands that resonate with me. Is there like a moment that you like think of and is like one of your fondest memories in playing those high stakes games?
Well, I stacked Berkey a lot.
I love hearing that. Yeah, Berkey.
One of the first big hands where I felt terrible, I was set over set versus Berkey. That was like one of the first times I'd played with him, and I think I stacked him like 3 times that night. And my favorite moment playing, like my favorite hand, or like
just like, yeah, your favorite memory of like some of the high stakes games.
You know, it's always hard to remember the amazing ones, right? You just remember like,
oh yeah, you remember all the bad beats.
Yeah. Well, a recent one was it's not that exciting. A 3-way all in was probably like a $400K pot versus Marley and an ex NFL player. What's his name? He's on Poker After Dark this week or last week or something. But it was, I flopped middle set and Marley had top pair, queen high flush draw, and the NFL guy had nut flush draw. And we ran it twice and I made a boat both times. Actually, the flush ran out on the turn, the first board, and I was like, meh. And then it paired, and I was and then the board paired on the turn on the second run out, and it was also a club, which made their flush. So at first I thought they hit it again, or he hit it, and Marley was drawing dead. But that was a good one.
The worst spot to be in.
Yeah.
So as far as your acting career, I'm curious, like behind the scenes, what were some fun things that were going on like Days of Our Lives or anything like, or something that the audience wouldn't know about? Like, was there a feud between anyone in real life, or was anyone that was feuding on TV, actually they were great friends or anything like that?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, yeah.
Bella was kind of like not a great friend to you at some point, and I was just like, I wonder if they were really great friends and like went shopping on their when the cameras were off.
Uh, with Belle?
Yeah, or Belle? Yeah,
Belle,
sorry,
yeah.
Belle.
Um, well, two actresses played Belle, and I was friends with both of them. And yeah. Um, we were very close that whole Days of Our Lives last blast gang. We had a couple recasts over the years, but even the recasts fit right in. And I don't know. We just were all very, very close. We thought that we were going to all be best friends forever. Like, we were like, could you ever see us not keeping in touch, or like not being at each other's weddings, or like you're going to be my godmother. You're just, and I don't really talk to any of them, honestly. I keep in touch with like maybe two of them, two of the girls, maybe more than that, but it's just like every couple years, maybe there's like a Twitter reply or something. And I don't talk to any of the guys anymore. I don't know. You think you're going to be friends with someone forever, and then you're just not.
I think that's pretty common though.
Yeah.
So you're living in Vancouver now. How do you like it? Do you enjoy Canada? Do you enjoy the cold? Is it working out for you
I don't
guys?
enjoy the cold. Well, so actually we're residents of Canada. We lived here in 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, and we applied for residency because we thought that this was going to be our long-term permanent home. And then 2015, we got married and we built a house in Las Vegas, and we still thought we would be back and forth or have our house for the summer during the series. But we ended up like loving our house there so much and getting like so comfortable. Like, we just didn't want to leave. And Phil had started getting into some live games at Aria and Bellagio, and he was like, well, I'm doing well in these games, so maybe I don't need online poker anymore. And online poker was getting slower at that time, and I just loved my house, so I was fine but leaving Vancouver. But it was like the week that we got approved for our permanent residency is the week that we decided that we weren't going to be living there anymore. So when Phil asked me in December, I think it was, how I felt about him doing all these challenges and like, would I be on board to like go somewhere so he could play? I was like, let's get our PR cards and see if we're still residents. And so we dug through our safe and we found our PR cards, and we're good till August. So I was like, that helps because then we don't have to get a visa for anywhere. And we love Vancouver and know our way around. And and honestly, had I been a psychic person and had been able to predict coronavirus, I would have said no to the challenges, because now I'm like stuck here. I agreed because Vancouver is a very easy flight to Vegas. It's only like 2.5 hours. And if I were to get homesick or miss my family or get bored up here, Spencer and I needed a little excitement. It was just one hop away, back home. And then I made one trip in February and thought, well, that's my first trip of like maybe 3 or 4. But now we're stuck. And so it's hard. It's much harder than I anticipated because, I have to entertain him all day while Phil works, and we're in a small apartment. And, I'm sure this is what a lot of people are dealing with, and it's hard for everyone. So it's just a lot harder than I had anticipated. But
so Besides supporting him in this challenge, what kinds of things are you doing? Because it's, the corona thing, I'd hate to not talk about it because it's a
Yeah.
part of all of our lives. What are
Yeah.
you guys doing to get through this pandemic?
Well, we still are making, like, once a week we'll go to the grocery, and then I have to take the dog out on a walk to relieve herself. So when it's time to take the dog out, I take Spencer out with me to get him some fresh air. And Phil made one little grocery trip today, just by himself. So we all didn't have to go in, and we're staying in as much as we absolutely can, but I do have to, like, let my dog go to the bathroom, and I utilize that time to get Spencer in his stroller, but he has like a cover. Um, I don't know. That's all
Are
we
you
do.
are you
Go around
Zooming
the
with
block.
your friends or anything?
Huh?
Are you having like FaceTime or anything with your friends to
Yeah.
keep yourself like mentally healthy?
I FaceTime with my sister and my nieces every day, and then my mom and my mother-in-law, and uh, yeah. But Spencer and I are bored. I mean, we're pretty
Yeah.
bored. And like last night, it was like the end of the day, and um, I felt myself going a little crazy. I was like, I might crack. um, but yeah, because I don't know, we just don't know how long it's going to take and when things are going to get better. And um, we had planned on being back home, by June 1st or the end of May. And I'm just like picturing myself 2 more months here with the baby, like not having anything to do. Like, he's sick of his toys. He hates the books we have now. Like, I've exhausted like, we go from corner to corner and room to room, and I just let him pull stuff out. And I don't know if anyone follows me on Instagram, but that's my life right now. And, I am enjoying him. I love spending my days. I'm excited every morning to see him. But we do get bored by the end of the day. Like, he's got boredom cries and
Oh,
yeah.
that's
But
tough.
yeah, it's okay. We'll get through it. I just kind of wish that I knew when we would be able to go home. I mean, I guess, like, we could go home whenever we wanted because we're citizens, right? But
Are there flights right now or limited
that's the thing.
flights?
I don't even know if there's flights, but I don't know. We could get home if we really wanted to, I'm sure, but we can't right now. I just thought that I would be able to go whenever I wanted, but
Yeah, it's this pandemic has like I'm working from home now. I have this week off for vacation, and I think I'm going through every single Netflix show there is.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm trying my best. I was supposed to be in Vegas actually, but it's been tough. But I'm very grateful that I still have a job, and you know. So elephant in the room is the Galfond challenge,
Yeah.
and the
Mhm.
Galfond challenge isn't just Phil Galfond, as Joey said today,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
you. And I'm just wondering, like, the swing was huge. He's made an amazing comeback, but how did you deal with that massive swing? I saw some of your tweets talking about getting a facial and a coffee before the I think it was like right before one of his biggest downswings.
Um, I think I got a facial. Well, I got a very expensive one right before before the first hand, like
Okay.
the day before,
That's right.
and then right before. Phil surprised me. Um, Before they came back from break, the day before, like, because Phil obviously, he took that time off. He paid the penalty, the 3K a
Mhm.
day penalty, and just was deciding if he was going to continue on or not. Um, Once he decided to continue on, and then they set a date for the restart, I woke up one morning, I was making my coffee. He knows that's the first place I go. And so he had like a little letter set up, um, thanking me for supporting him. Uh, and before any challenge starts, I deserve a very expensive facial. So he got me another one, before the
That's so
restart.
sweet.
I know it was.
You guys seem like you have
Um,
a really great relationship.
I think we do. Yeah.
I mean, the two of you, I mean, you're his number one supporter on Twitter, definitely. Um, like, how does a poker player, like, do you think it's the fact that you do play poker that you're able to support him so well and you guys work out so well?
I mean, I think that really, really helps. I mean, I know that for me, when I would go through some downswings and stuff, like I have the most amazing mental coach as a husband, you know, so I think it definitely helps having that understanding and know, like, you know, what each other is going through. Look, when I got pretty sad during the 900K downer. I think like after the his biggest loss, I was in Vegas. I told you I went to Vegas for like a few days in February, and it was while I was in Vegas that he had like his biggest losing day. And I was like busy with the family, but I was checking my phone like to see what, and I was like at my niece's play, and I had tears brimming because I just felt so bad for him. He was so excited uh to to do this challenge, and he, you know, he had been preparing a lot, and he was just excited, and it was going so poorly. And of course, like, I'm seeing what everyone else is seeing, and you know, and I'm seeing him just get totally owned every day. And but at the same time, I know him very, very, very well, and he's like never wrong about anything, and um he always knows he just knows always knows what to do about anything. And so I would express concern, and he would just tell me not to worry, and that he know, like, he's got it under control, and he's going to be able to see if he should stop or if he should not, or if, you know. And like, he would even say, I think he even said on Twitter, like, he doesn't know who the favorite is, and people are like, are you fucking crazy? You're down, he's killing you, you know. And look, you cannot doubt Phil Galfond. I've learned that over and over. And when he told me he had decided to continue on, he's like, I've gone over the situation. That's what I'm going to do. And I was like, all right, let's go. And I trust him. You know, I just he's a different kind of human. I mean, like, he's you guys see how smart he is, and I see it on a whole totally different level. I mean, you just got to trust him. And I mean, look,
I'm curious with you two. I mean, he's got Run It Once, which is the best training site out there, arguably. And someone like him or someone like you, where do you guys go for like I don't know if you do run hands past other people, as just to make sure that you're being objective with how you're looking at things, or if you have a mental coach, or I'm curious where elite people go to get help when the rest of us are going to the elite.
Yeah. Phil has always looked to Tommy Angelo, has been a long time mentor for him, and Elliot Rowe. He definitely has mentors. And as far as like study and all that, you know, he's on his own. He's a pioneer of this Potlam in Omaha. Yeah. So he's yeah. But he's my coach.
He's your coach.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have friends, of course, you know, that I've talked over hands with, but I mean, obviously, I have Phil Galfond as a roommate, so he's going to be he's helped me. He's given me many epiphanies over the years. So yeah, I'm lucky. I don't think I've ever helped him, but maybe I have. I help him with like pep talks, and he doesn't even need the pep talks, but I'm there giving them to him.
You're also his number one supporter on Twitter. Like when the trolls come out,
you can see that he's too nice, and sometimes people don't deserve it. Like, if someone's being nasty and he replies in a kind way, I'm just like, why did you do that? That person did not deserve that. Look,
So
I get a lot of mean tweets, but I don't call everyone out. It has to really get me like deep in the heart. and then if I read something and it makes me go, and I know that I'm retweeting, but I see a lot of junk that like, and people like, I think purposefully try to get me riled up because they want to like, maybe they want to get Twitter famous. So they want, I can tell when you're being fake about it, people. Like you have to really like be truly, truly, truly ignorant. Then you're
I
gonna get
usually, if a troll is really asking for it, I'll sleep on it and I'll think about what to
I
respond.
can't sleep on it. I have to go immediately.
I don't want to be nasty. I want to be methodical in my response.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, gotcha. They want to see
Yeah.
you blow your lid.
Yeah. And I do.
I think Mike Postle has created like 20 different Twitter accounts and is constantly trying to push my buttons, and I keep blocking them.
Yeah.
Today I kind of let loose a little bit because I didn't want to have it anymore. I was pissed off. But I mean, I like that you're a little feisty. I like that you guys seem like you have this balance where he's just like a little more quiet, a little, not that you're not methodical, but it's definitely like in the forefront for him. And then for you, you're not no nonsense and not going to take anyone's shit.
Yeah. He's exactly who he is, and I'm exactly who I am. And I amuse him, and he amuses me. And it's just like
you guys seem like a really good fit. Did you just know the second you saw him? I'm curious.
Yeah. Yeah.
How, like,
I think within the first week we knew. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. So how long did you guys date before you were married?
2.5 years.
Oh, wow. I thought it was going to be something, because my parents have been together for like 40 years and they got married after 3 months. So it's always like those kinds of stories. I thought for sure you were going to tell me, oh yeah, 2 months. But
I think if I hadn't cut all my hair off really short, he would have proposed sooner.
What?
Yeah. I had like, this was like my hair when we met, and then I cut it all off like a faux hawk, and he was like really not into it. And I think that delayed the proposal by like 1.5 years. He wanted to know I was going to grow it first.
I could send you my wig, girl. So just, I'm curious, just some like questions I jotted down because I was curious about you as a person. Like, what accomplishment are you most proud of?
My first instinct was marrying Phil. Sorry, Spencer.
Spencer's going to grow up and find himself a partner, and you're always going to have Phil. I think that's really sweet. You guys are going to be the 90-year-old couple that's going to be adorable in the park, walking, holding hands, kissing.
I hope so. I think that's my greatest accomplishment. Yeah.
So if you could travel back or forwards in time, when would you go? Where would you go?
Backwards or forwards?
Yeah. I would go forwards because I like technology, and hopefully the world hasn't ended by, in a couple hundred years.
I definitely wouldn't travel backwards to being pregnant. That was not fun.
Did you have a tough pregnancy?
Yeah, I would go forward. I would go forward. I would go forward, but not too far forward. I'm very curious what Spencer's going to look like. Maybe just like a little sneak peek at like 3-year-old Spencer. That's as like high as all. Oh, yeah, and I want to know if Run It Once Poker is going to be successful. So yeah, so yeah, like 2 years time. Yeah, give me like a day 2 years from now. Like, let me just see what Spencer looks like, see what the traffic's like on Run It Once.
Hopefully it'll be legal in the States so we can all play on it.
Wouldn't that just be amazing?
That would be amazing. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Well, it's probably been from my husband. This is one of those questions where I'm gonna think of the answer later. I can't. Yeah, I can't think of anything.
I'll
I'm
tell
sorry.
you mine.
Okay.
So there was a time where my family was, pressuring me in my 20s to get married. And I think I got married because I was told it was my time and not because it was really the right person or anything.
Yeah.
And I remember in my 30s, someone saying to me, like, just, you only have one life, just be happy, just like be with someone who just makes you happy. And it doesn't matter about the certificate. It can matter if that's what's important to you, but the most important thing is just that happiness. And so the focus was less on like helping my parents or like proving something to my parents, and it was more about just like inner peace.
Yeah.
So if you're having a bad day, what do you do to make yourself feel better?
Well, I'd say yesterday I had a bad day. I don't have too many bad days, but I think yesterday I did. So I just tried to hold it together until after Spencer went to bed, and then I poured a glass of wine and sat down on the couch and just talked to Phil. So
curious what kind of wine you like.
Well, I love Sauvignon Blancs from New Zealand, but since I've been in Vancouver, there's a little local wine shop that just has all local BC wine, and so I've been trying different stuff. They have some that's comparable to the New Zealand Savs, but last night was a Cab Merlot blend. I like Cab Merlot blends, I guess. I've been drinking a lot of that. I have like 1 or 2 glasses most nights, and
I love Cab blends too.
Yeah.
Napa wines are just my favorite, and I'm lucky to live around here.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I just will have a glass of wine and like just kind of talk it out with Phil, because he just makes me feel better.
I love your guys' relationship. I love how happy you are when you talk about him. It's just like kind of gives me a little, just want to shed a little tear. It's like really sweet. And I'm just trying to think. I just going through my notes to see if I missed anything. Oh, I was going to ask you about phone calls, how you have anxiety over phone calls. Are you still like that? Are you guys still not calling each other? I mean, you obviously are living together, but when you're not together?
Well, if we're not together, like we'll FaceTime sometimes, but mostly no. I mean, I'd say, so we've been together almost 8 years, and at this point we've had probably, it's under 10 phone calls.
That's hilarious.
Under 10. Over 5.
Over 5. That's good. I would have taken the over on 10, but with 10 years, it's about less than 1 a year if it's over 5 and under 10.
It's about 1 a year. Yeah. So 8 years over 5.
8 years. Sorry. I was thinking 10 years. Yeah. Hilarious. What's just weird about that is just like you're not like, I find like 20-year-olds don't call. So I know you're
Yeah.
younger than me, but I was just like, oh, that's weird because I don't know. It's just
I know we're a little old for the non-phone call people. Yeah, but I don't know. It gives me anxiety, it gives him anxiety, and but I really do like his phone voice. I mean, I guess it's similar to his poker training video voice. Um, but I like his phone voice, and I like talking. Like once we actually do it, I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad, and I like hearing your voice. But we're awkward. We don't really we don't really know what to talk about. Like I'll just text you, okay, bye. Well, he's a very good writer. I don't know if you've noticed, but when we were first getting together, we were long distance. We would send each other like really long emails every day, back and forth. And so like that, just writing to each other. I think that since that started being our thing, that was our thing from the beginning. Like we've just like, if we're ever apart, we go back to that, or we want to go back to that, you know? So
that's sweet.
So when I was in Vegas last month, I don't have as much time to send big long ones, but you know, I'll send them like a goodnight email, or you know.
You're adorable. I love it. Um, so before we go, I'm just curious, and I know we've got the whole COVID-19 thing going on, but are there any plans like in the fall or towards the end of the year for you to be on any high stakes poker shows, or can anyone find you anywhere?
I don't know. I haven't been asked to be on anything in a while. I think people are just kind of like assuming that I'm out of it right now, which I like kind of am. I don't know. I don't know what's next for me. Actually got asked to do a soap about 2 weeks ago, and then all the productions shut down. So like for a hot second, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be acting again soon. But that's all on hold. Maybe I'll do that this summer. I don't know if they'll come back around to me or what. I'm up for anything. I think little acting gigs would be nice. So because I don't like I won't feel guilty leaving. I don't know, leaving my baby to do a nice little acting gig, because like those come around once a blue moon. But I don't know, poker. I don't know. I hope so. I hope, like, ideally, I would like to get home end of May, like we had planned, for coronavirus to be gone, and just to like slowly get back into it, and yeah, maybe play on Poker After Dark or High Stakes Poker. I would love that. I would need to brush up, but yeah, I mean, I hope I'm doing something again soon. I hope by the end of the year, especially like you said, fall, winter.
Yeah,
I would love for the World Series to be postponed till the winter. Like having it in the winter would be great. It's not so hot, and like you don't have to worry about the AC going.
I agree. I think that would be a fine idea. Get
Yeah,
flights
the
back.
holidays. We'll all be in the holiday spirit, and yeah,
We could all be wearing Christmas sweaters while we're
yeah,
playing.
it'd be fun.
Ugly Christmas sweaters, of course. Yeah, I agree. We should postpone it till the winter. I'd hate to miss a year of the World Series of Poker.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
And I think they should just have it every winter.
it's true because the heat is ridiculous, and everyone who's gone there or has been in Vegas during the summer knows it's like opening up an oven at 400 degrees and sticking your head in it.
It's
Kind
not
of.
fun. Yeah. All right.
It's too
Well, we'll
hot.
see. I mean, it's just like a wait and see kind of life right now. We'll just have to wait and see about everything. So, it's a weird
Well,
time. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, um, yeah, I guess everything's up in the air. I have,
I mean,
there's
most
nothing to
stuff
do.
is canceled, but
Yeah.
a lot of stuff's up in the air. Like when is it going to end? That's what's up in the air. there's no end in sight, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like 3 to 6 months. And we could I feel like the problem is once the graph starts showing that our cases are going down because of social distancing, people are going to say, oh, well, we're getting better, everything's fine, and go out, and then we'll have another spike in cases. I feel like I've been preaching about this to too many people, but I'm very frustrated at, I feel like not enough people are getting tested, and we don't know how many people actually have it.
Yeah.
Which also makes it hard for us to keep people in isolation if we don't know, if we just tell them they have a cold or they're asymptomatic. So
yeah.
Well, look, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate your time. It's an absolute pleasure meeting you. I'm a huge fan, and I just think the world of you and your husband, and it's just been an absolute pleasure. And I hope that you and your family stay safe, and I hope you can get back into poker soon.
Thank you. Look, I don't know too much about your story. I've seen a few tweets. I think that you just you've really outdid yourself this past year, and I think you should be very proud of yourself. And you're pretty inspirational, and I'm just been very impressed with what I've seen. And like I said, I don't know a lot about you, but I would like to. I think that you're great, and I was honored that you asked to talk to me.
Thank you.
I don't get a lot of requests. I'm Phil's wife that tweets funny things, and I appreciate the interest. And
yeah, and I didn't want to make it about Phil. I wanted to make it about you because I think you're such an interesting person, and I knew of you before Phil. And, so I think just watching your transition, especially, and I don't want to make it all about women in poker because I think you're just a poker player. You're a good poker player. It's interesting to me that you were able to make that transition because I was not. I was playing on a regular basis 2-5. I even played 5-10 for a while. The game passed me by, and it's my fault because I didn't study, and also I had life circumstances where I couldn't continue to play. I too had a son, and I put my life on hold for that. And so I admire that you were able to make that transition, and it's pretty cool. I think you're a pretty amazing human being, and I appreciate your time.
Well, I'm more impressed by your strength, and I'm really sorry for what you've gone through. And I couldn't even bring myself to watch your video because I just cried at your tweet, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to make it through. But anyway, you're just an inspiration for sure. And I think everyone feels that in the little poker, especially in the poker Twitter community. So keep up the great work. And
Thank you.
I can't say that I'm going to watch this video either because I don't like the sound of my voice. But I'm a big fan, and I hope that you continue on in this community in whatever capacity or whatever level you want to, because you're really cool.
Thank you.
And you're funny too on Twitter.
I try. Sometimes I get serious though. It depends on my mood.
Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, I like serious and funny. I'm serious and funny. People don't always see the serious side, but
yeah, I think I've seen some serious sides to you, but yeah, I think we both found each other when we both were peaking with funny tweets. But yeah, no,
well,
I really appreciate the kind words.
Thank you so much. No, thank you. Thank you.
You're too sweet. So if you're ever in San Jose and I haven't died from Corona,
okay,
and the whole pandemic is over, I'd be more than happy to take you and Phil out for something to eat or whatever, shot of tequila, whatever.
Sure.
So
if we're ever there, I'll let you know.
For sure. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. And thank you for
Thank
the
you.
kind
All right.
words.
Hang in there, okay?
Thanks, you too.
All right.